This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you in part by the Daily Herald.
So Naperville Central wrestling coach Rob Porter, we're still in the early part of the wrestling season here, but you guys have been really busy, a really tough schedule. What has that kind of done to kind of get these guys ready for the home stretch of the conference season and the postseason here that's still about a month and a half away?
Well, we're still trying to figure out what our team's all about, and we did have a really rough start, but we wrestled really well at the Hinsdale Central tournament. The Whitlatch tournament's one of the top 3 tournaments in the state. We placed 7th out of 27 teams and had 5 placers, so it's a really good start, and now we can kind of roll into the second part of the season here and hopefully see a lot of improvement and make our run for the postseason.
Coming up later this week, you guys have a dual match with an out-of-state opponent, Portland, Michigan. You know, nobody really knows much about them. What can you guys kind of get out of a meet like that?
Well, Portland, Michigan is coached by Scott Sanborn, who is the father of Jake Sanborn, one of our assistant coaches. And Jake came up to me and said, hey, would it be all right if we dueled? And I said, absolutely. And it's a great exhibition meet for us. They're bringing 24 wrestlers, and we're just going to wrestle all of them, have a little meal afterwards and celebrate. The kids are going to stay overnight at our kids' places, and it'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll learn something from the experience and put on be good hosts for them. So
now, is that kind of an event? I know Michigan's still in the Midwest, but is there something that you expect maybe that you're going to see, some of your kids are going to see a little bit of different styles than what we're used to seeing some of the same guys?
I don't know. I think that it'll be fun just to talk and exchange ideas with Coach Sanborn and find out what kind of things they're doing over in Michigan, and maybe we can learn something from that. Hopefully they have a great time over here in Illinois, and they get to see some sights and enjoy their visit.
You lost a handful of sectional qualifiers from last year coming into this season. About a month into the season, how has this team kind of performed up to expectations, and kind of what did you expect coming in?
Well, it's been a rough year, and part of it is that our football team did so well. Our football team made the semifinals of the football conference. That ate into the wrestling season. I was really excited. I also coached freshman football, so it was really neat to see those boys have so much success. But then it was a real trick for us in our wrestling program to figure out how to get those boys back into the lineup, get them focused on the wrestling. I think right now they're doing a great job. They're kind of back in the groove. I think you're going to see some good things from them. It was a rough start, but now they're really starting to roll. So it should be interesting with those boys for sure.
Now, people will notice we're in the basketball gym today, so a little bit displaced from the regular wrestling room because you got a couple junior high programs that feed into Central here on campus, getting in a big rivalry match. How important is getting a lot of these guys interested in the sport of wrestling so early, so that when they come into freshman wrestling, they're not necessarily doing as much learning as so much just kind of building?
Well, I agree with you, Alex. I think that our wrestling room, we're very lucky to have a very large wrestling room. It doubles as our competition gym. The only time we're in this main basketball gym is when we have a big tournament, like, for example, the JV2 tournament we're going to host in here. Last year we hosted the regionals in here, but with our gym, we can host some events like that, and our boys that are in the junior high can look at our gym and kind of think about where they want to be when they get to high school. Hopefully they'll choose to wrestle. And then, we can also hold all kinds of different spring events in there and whatnot. So we're really lucky here at Naperville Central to have such great facilities and hopefully turn some of those kids on to some of our activities here at Central.
Some of the guys that have been doing well this year, Kirk Cherub, Tom Matringa, Luke Roth, Ryan Berg, these guys, some examples that have, been putting in the work, and the guys that are kind of getting their hand raised on Saturday because of it?
Yeah, you named 4 kids that actually placed at the Hinsdale Central tournament. Steven Spland was the 5th. Those boys are really plugging away. 2 of those boys are football players, and they're starting to get their groove too. Yeah, those boys are really our main guys, and we're hoping those other guys the other 9 guys that are in our lineup also produce for us too. And when we get that going, then we've got a good thing happening. I really like this team. I mean, we haven't had a great record so far as our dual meet, but they work hard, and what I've always said is that if hard work and success were completely correlated, we'd be undefeated right now. That's how hard these boys are working. And I know that hard work is going to pay off to success down the road. It's just a matter of how and when and how much. So it should be interesting to see how that all ties together.
Who are a couple guys that are kind of maybe flying under the radar right now? Maybe a couple guys that played football that maybe we can expect to see some big results from here in the next couple weeks?
Well, I don't know about the football. We have a young 106-pounder freshman that stepped in the lineup. He's doing a great job. His name is Derek Wilkie. He's equaled his record and starting to win a lot of matches for us at the varsity level. We have another freshman that's starting for us at 126 pounds. His name is Ben Williamson, a really talented young man. He's producing some wins for us. Went 3-2 at the Hinsdale tournament. We have a 113-pounder that has some varsity experience. His name is Mitch Lee. He's a junior. He's done a great job plugging away. So we got a lot of kids that are kind of in the mix there. Another kid, Kyle Class, he's our 170-pounder. He's a senior. He's been rock solid, very consistent for us. He's done a great job. So these kids are they're gonna win. It's just a matter of how and when.
You talk about wrestling in the DVC, and you know Glenbard North's the team that obviously comes up that's won all kinds of DVC titles, a lot of state champions. What is it that you guys can kind of maybe take from seeing them year in and year out that really makes them so successful?
Well, Glenbard North's got a great program. You know, they have a great feeder program. They have a great coaching staff. They produce champions. It's not by accident. They do a great job with them. You know, we could point to them and say, these are the things we know Glenbard North is doing. We got to be able to do similar or like things. The other thing is that when we wrestle Glenbard North, we don't want to wrestle the singlet. We want to wrestle the man. And just because he's wearing a Glenbard singlet doesn't mean that, you know, we're going to get beat by that. You know, if he's the better man, then okay. But we want to go out there and be competitive against anybody in the DVC, including Glenbard North. We know we can compete with them down the road. It's just a matter of you know, getting our program going, and what we're doing right now in our gym with our junior high kids is part of that. So hopefully we can catch up and do some of the things that they have done to be successful, and we can compete with them.
Wrestling coaches I've kind of talked to have kind of echoed a little bit of the same sentiment, and you know it varies by the way they say it, but the basis of it is wrestling is a lifestyle, not just a sport. Is that something that goes into it as well?
Yeah, it is. You know, the southwest suburbs of Chicago is a real hotbed for wrestling. And if you look nationwide, Illinois is always in the top when they wrestle in the junior nationals and the cadet nationals. Illinois is always #1 or #2 in the nation. And then if you look at the state of Illinois, the southwest suburbs is where some of the best wrestling is being held. And the DVC is part of that, and it's no accident that it's very difficult, very tough to be competitive in our league and in our area in wrestling. In order to do that, you got to be committed to wrestling more than just the season. What that means, it means different things to different people, whether that's the spring or summer or fall. But you know, if you just come in November and you hang up your shoes in February, you know, you could be a good wrestler, but you're not going to see the success that other teams and other individuals see.
What's going to be the X factor for you guys kind of going forward here in the latter half of the season to kind of determine where you guys are going to be ending up? It's
a great question. You know, we're always looking at different ways to improve, and one of the different things that we do in the the winter break is really bump up our conditioning a little bit. We do a lot of instruction at the beginning part of the year. The winter break allows us to have a little bit more time because we don't have school to bump up that conditioning and also individualize a little bit on what our kids need to do independently. For example, our heavyweight has different techniques and different skills that he needs to do, different than, say, a middleweight or our 106-pounder. So we could start to individualize, maybe break down some film and start to really focus on what these particular kids need to do to be successful. And then hopefully that carries over into the second part of the season. The second part of the season, there's not as much instruction. It's just fine-tuning and trying to get over the hump, be competitive against kids that maybe we lost to earlier in the year, and then get going in the conference tournament.
Definitely. Well, Rob, we appreciate you letting us come by. We'll let you get back to watch some future Red Hawks, but good luck the rest of the way.
Well, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.